When we make the mistake of thinking our foremothers were stay-at-home mothers, they were not. They tied their babies on their backs to go fetch water from the stream. They tied their babies on their backs to go farm, to go everything. They did so much. But because it was not an office job, people assumed, or people made the mistake of thinking, no, they were not. Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Summer. So in this video I want to, that's one thing about this kind of content that we create. Sometimes some comments that people leave will give you a reason to address, or will give you a reason to make a video to address that comment or question or whatever it is. So I want to address the aspect of, if you don't know what we're talking about, is about Jamie and Nikki. They were family YouTube vloggers, like those people that show their lives and stuff like that. So they broke up, and recently the husband made a video that kind of gave a bit of an update of where things are at the moment. I'm not going to go back into that, right? So basically this is about people. He was saying that he never wanted like a wife that 100% stayed at home. He wanted whereby she worked and he worked, and both of them can do minding the children alternatively. He would want to actually be at home sometimes and bond with the kids, and she goes out and sometimes, and something about the editing of the videos as well. He wanted sometimes for her to do the editing. I'm just saying what he said, and that what was that? He has health problems that sometimes he gets because he was working so hard. It was affecting his immune system, whereby he was then getting sick because of exhaustion and stuff like that. I want to address the aspect of people that feel like it's almost like it's a woman's right to be a stay-at-home mom. That is the aspect I want to address. It happens to be Jamie and Nikki, but I want to address it for you and I, for anybody watching this, for us to learn something from it and rethink our thinking, right? So Jamie and Nikki aside, they find their topic brought about this, but on a normal day, every other couple, somebody may grab something from here. Okay, first thing I want to say is I think some people forget that to be able to, if you really want to be a stay-at-home mom and you're able to achieve that, it is a blessing. What's my point? My point is, okay, let me put it this other way. To be able to be a stay-at-home mom is not a right. It's a privilege. It's a blessing. It is not an entitlement. Why do I say that? I say that because we live in a world where one income doesn't sustain families anymore, or else the man is stinkily rich. Right? One income in most households. I shared with you guys here. I already had children. I went to the university to study nursing. Why did I do it? Okay, some of you that may come across this, you don't know me, because I've said it in a few of my videos. My dream for my life was to be a stay-at-home mom. I never wanted to work outside my home because I just wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, be a present mother. I want to be there to do the school runs. I want to be there for all of that. You see, for me, another aspect is that I grew up without my mother, right? So I wanted my children to have a mother because I missed out on having a mother, if that makes sense, right? So I wanted the opposite for my children because I know how it felt for me. So I wanted the opposite. I wanted a home where mother is in the house 24/7. But unfortunately, it was a privilege that I couldn't afford because their father was the only one working, and he made it clear. He was like, you have to work. You have to work. He said, it's like, he just made it clear. I was not even happy, but I said, you know what, I'll do it. And I went back to college. I ended up becoming a nurse, right? Okay. And I'm calling it that word. It's a privilege. It's a blessing. It is not an entitlement. Every woman in the world is not entitled to be a stay-at-home mom. So whether you'll be able to be a stay-at-home mom depends on your family's circumstance. Let's not forget there are some women that do not want to be a stay-at-home mom. There are also some women that they don't at all. They rather go out and work. So let's not forget that as well. But I want to address those comments that feel like it is, what do you mean she should not go and work? And then you hear some people. I was having conversation on Facebook, and sometimes when you look at comments on Facebook and the interactions some people have on Facebook, you just kind of sit down and you just wonder, That is why I make videos like this, because somebody may listen to this and say, oh, it's actually true. It never occurred to me. You will hear some of our women, especially our African women, that's what I mean, that assume that our mothers were stay-at-home mothers. It's a lie. You didn't think properly about it. In most of our cultures, right, when a woman has a baby, she will get what they call omugwo, where her mother comes and stays for 6 months, right? And after that, the omugwo period is over. Forget about even now we're westernized. Even in our Africa, most African countries were westernized, right? If we go back to our forefathers, I don't even have to go too far. Like, let me speak about my grandparents, right? How it was done was that after the 6 months is over, the women tie their babies on their backs and they are off to the farms. You see, if you think about ancient times, the men were the hunters and the women were the farmers. They planted the crops. Our forefathers went to hunt for meat. And so when people say our mothers were stay-at-home moms, sometimes I'm like, people are clueless. I sat down one day and I asked myself, in my culture, right, our forefathers did only the farming of the yam. Our mothers before us, they will plant the okra. They will plant the okra. Some people call it okra, but Nigeria, my side will call it okra, right? They will plant the cocoyam. They will plant the corn. They will plant every other, the ugu, all the peppers and the vegetables, every other thing. And the men will come and plant one thing, the yam. And I made a post many years ago in which I said, I sat down, I thought about it. I said, our forefathers only planted yam. In spite of the fact that our mothers, our foremothers, planted everything else, it is only the yam that there's a festival for. In my place, we have what they call the New Yam Festival. And I started questioning. So of all the things our mother planted, none of them deserves a festival. It's only that one thing, yam, that the men planted, that they gave a festival. And I believe, intentionally or intentionally or unintentionally, they did it to make themselves feel like they are the important ones. Because if you think about it, our mothers were the real MVPs. They were the real major players. Think about it. They cannot live on yam alone, or even the hunting. They can't live on just the meat and the yam alone. The egusi, the ogbono, the okra, the ugu, every other thing, the peppers, and every other thing that they needed to exist. Our mothers did the planting of the rest of that. But I don't know, in those days, I feel like, I may be wrong, but sometimes I'm like, I think they never allowed women to know that they were important. Without women, that is what I began to think in my head. And then you see somebody today will now say our mothers were stay-at-home mothers. No. The food they grew, the things they planted was what sustained communities. For what are you talking about? You understand? So when we make the mistake of thinking our foremothers were stay-at-home mothers, they were not. They tied their babies on their backs to go fetch water from the stream. They tied their babies on their backs to go farm, to go everything. They did so much. But because it was not an office job, people assumed, or people made the mistake of thinking, no, they were not. You understand? So my point is this. Staying at home as a wife, it is not a right. Because if it's a right, every woman in the world can just stay at home. No, it is a privilege. Unfortunately, not all families can afford it. There are some footballers' wives and whatever that their husbands are so rich. They can afford nanny, afford this and afford everything. They have mansions and everything. Their wives don't need to work because it's useless. You understand? So I'm not speaking about Jimmy and Nikki. I don't know if they had enough money for her to have stayed at home. But I want to address those that think it is, and another comment is a woman that gave him 2 children. Children are not a gift to any man. Children belong to 2 people, their fathers and their mothers. I've been trying to correct that for a lot of people. They make this comment and say, she had 4 children for him. She had 10 children for him. Children is not a gift. You don't have children for a man. You have children with a man. Our foremothers were deceived to believe that children belong to a man. So when a marriage broke up, they just chased the woman away. I don't know about your culture. I'm talking about my culture. When a marriage breaks up, the man takes the children and the woman has to go because she just came to produce children. No, you have children with men. You don't have children for men. It's funny how some people say she had 2 children for him. And then at the same time, they still support the comment where the video we saw where Nikki said, you guys are never going to see my children again. They support that. She can say, they cannot see my children again. At the same time, they're saying she had 2 children for him. That mentality needs to change. If you notice this video, what I have said is that mentalities. I'm speaking about mentalities that need to change. Children belong to their fathers and their mothers. Children are not being born for men. They are being born with men because he produces juice, you carry the belly, and they come out. It belongs to 2 of you. So you have children with Paul. You understand? You don't say, I have children for Paul. You can give a gift to Paul. That's different. You understand what I'm trying to say? Now, and then the area of stay-at-home mom, unfortunately, a lot of people cannot afford it. Because of their own, everybody's situation is different. And I made a video which I explained. If a husband is saying, the load is too much for me, I don't see anything wrong in that. Especially when the guy says he has health problems. Because, like I said in that other video as well, if a man has health problems, and we saw in their videos, we always see him in hospital and stuff like that. We saw it in the videos, right? Okay, if he has health problems that, he needs support, that the wife should work sometimes and he works, she can edit sometimes and he edits sometimes, and he can do housework as well sometimes, and if they can share it whereby it's well balanced. It's important because, let me tell you guys, the man people are saying, go and do this, go and do that. When you go and be a man, who said it's only a man that can work? Our foremothers worked more than our fathers. If you really want to think about it, they did more than our fathers. You understand? Okay, go and be a man. If the man says, okay, society says I must go and be a man, and he's sick, and he's dying, and he's saying, I'll have to do it, I have to be, and God forbid he dropped dead. The one he was doing, who was going to, the woman will have no choice but to take over then. 100%. Are you not better off having the 50% he can contribute, support, and you 2 of you can, like I said, when you're washing your hands, the left washes the right and the right washes the hands. Are you not better off? Are you not better off where you do it like that? So both of you can be healthy and be well, than he continues to push himself more than he can. And then, if, like I said, if God forbid something happened and he was gone, the woman then will be left with no choice than to take it all up. 100%. It's 100% not more work for the woman. What my point is this: marriages is about cooperation, understanding each other, being there for each other, so that 2 of you can succeed together, that in a way that it benefits all of you, husbands and wives and their children. I really hope I made points. I think the main point I want people to grab from this is that to be able to be a stay-at-home mom, unfortunately, is a privilege that a lot of people cannot afford. It is not a right, it is not an entitlement, it's a blessing. That's what I am trying to say. Both people should work together to make everything work. As always, whatever your opinions are, leave them in the comment section below. And with that, I'm going to say thank you for watching. Until the next time, guys. Bye-bye. Bye.